Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to be unpacking the security and privacy model for Amazon Q Developer. You know, that super powerful new AI tool for coders?
So AI coding assistants like Amazon Q Developer, they're promising these huge productivity gains, right? We're talking about building faster than ever. But, and this is a big but, with all that speed comes some really critical questions. What's actually happening to your proprietary code, your sensitive data? I mean, is it safe? Is it private?
Well, to get you some answers, we're going to walk through the whole security model for Amazon Q Developer. We'll kick things off with the core AWS security principle, then we'll look at exactly how your data is protected, what kind of privacy controls you actually have, and then how you can manage the whole thing. All right, let's dive in.
Okay, so to really get a grip on security for any service on AWS, and that definitely includes Amazon Q, we have to start with this foundational concept that honestly governs everything. It's called the shared responsibility model.
You know, it sounds complicated, but it's a pretty simple and really powerful idea. It's usually explained with an analogy, which I think helps a lot. So picture AWS as the company that owns and manages a super secure apartment building. They handle all the physical security. We're talking the building's foundation, the main doors, security guards at the front. That part, that's security of the cloud. But then you're responsible for everything inside your own apartment. You know, locking your door, deciding who gets a key, and that's security in the cloud. See the difference? And this right here, this does a great job of breaking down that division of labor. So, AWS is managing all that underlying infrastructure, the hardware, the software, the global network, all that stuff. Your part of the deal kicks in at the configuration level. You're the one managing user access, encrypting your data, and setting up the security rules for the services you're using. It really is a partnership for sure. All right, so now that we have that foundation in place, let's get to the heart of it, right? The question on everyone's mind. What actually happens to your data, your code, your prompts, your conversations when you're using Amazon Q Developer?
Well, security really starts with encryption, and for Q Developer, it's applied at two supercritical stages. First, when your data is traveling from your IDE over to AWS, it's protected by TLS encryption. That's the same standard that protects things like online banking, so it's really solid. Then, once your data gets there, boom, it's encrypted again while it's just sitting there being stored. So you've got this double layer of protection, and the best part is it's on by default. And it gets even better. For pro-tier users, you get an even greater level of control. You can actually use your own customer-managed keys through AWS KMS. Now, this is a huge deal for organizations with strict compliance requirements. Why? Because it means you and only you hold the keys to your data. You've got the ultimate power to grant or revoke access whenever you want.
You know, where your content is physically stored, that matters a lot too, especially when you're talking about compliance. And it all depends on your subscription tier. If you're a pro user, your content for core features is stored right in the AWS region where your profile was created. That's a huge help for data residency requirements. Now for the free tier, that content is stored over in a US region.
And hey, don't forget, part of that shared responsibility model is on you. AWS gives you a really clear set of best practices to follow, things like enforcing multi-factor authentication, MFA, setting up logging with CloudTrail so you can monitor activity, and just being smart about not putting sensitive info in places like free-form fields or tags.
Okay, let's switch gears a little bit. From security to privacy. They're definitely related, but they're not the same thing. See, privacy isn't just about stopping someone from getting unauthorized access. It's also about controlling how your data is actually used by the service itself.
And this is where we see a major difference between the free and pro tiers when it comes to data usage. If you're a pro user, your content is never, ever used to train the underlying models or improve the service, period. But for the free tier, AWS may use that content for service improvement. It's a really key distinction.
But this also shows you how much control you have. Even if you're on the free tier, you can still opt out of this data sharing. The option to turn off content and telemetry sharing is right there in your IDE settings. It's literally just a few clicks away.
Now, beyond just data sharing, the main tool you're going to use to manage access and enforce all your security policies is AWS Identity and Access Management, or IAM, as most people call it. Think of it as the central nervous system for permissions on AWS. It's that important.
With IAM, you get this incredibly specific control over permissions. You can write policies that say exactly which users or services can get into Amazon Q and what specific things they're allowed to do once they're in. This lets you enforce what's called the principle of least privilege, which is a huge security best practice. It just means people only have the access they absolutely need to do their job and nothing more.
Okay, so we've looked at the model, we've followed the data's journey, we've checked out the privacy options. Let's pull this all together and just summarize the key security levers that you've got at your disposal.
At the end of the day, the security of Amazon Q is not some big mystery, it's not a black box. It's a really transparent partnership. You have crystal clear controls over your encryption, how your data is used, who gets to access it, and even where it's located. And all of this lets you configure the service to perfectly match your organization's specific security and compliance needs.
So by understanding and, actively using these controls, you can confidently tap into the incredible power and speed of AI in your development workflow. And you can do it all while keeping a really strong security posture. The question really isn't, is it secure anymore? The question is, what are you going to build with it?